Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Well, as you probably can see, I'm in my new space in Switzerland. I'm starting a new flexible living arrangement, which many of you know about. I'm staying in this little space. It's a little apartment room for 6 weeks, and then I'm moving on to another place, and I'm really enjoying it. Well, it's day whatever. I mean, it's at the beginning of this. I haven't been here long, and I'm just learning. I've got things up on the walls now. I've got some pictures, and I've just made it my own space. But last night I had a bit of a moment of loneliness, and I just felt really alone. And I know whenever that happens, I can always literally pick up my phone, or I can send messages, and I'll get lots of support. I mean, all of us have, some have got more than others, friends that we can reach out to. I'm very, very fortunate. I have incredible relationships with my family, and I actually, it's funny, I always, when I'm feeling a bit lonely, I always read comments from our Facebook and our website, and it always makes me feel like I am connected, but we don't all have that, But I wanted to chat though about how we can transform it, how loneliness has its value. It can be positive, and that we come to grips with our reality, that we are alone and we're dealing with that reality, perhaps after a marriage has ended or you've lost a partner. These can be hard times. And I know a lot of women in our community have dealt with that, are dealing with that. And so I want to be sensitive to it. It's not to be taken lightly. Loneliness is not something that you just ride over. You might need to get some help. But if you're feeling lonely, let's talk about transforming it into solitude. Now, solitude is different. It can be healing. And it's like the difference of how we frame it and then what we do with it. Like loneliness is kind of a box. We're in it by ourselves. It's disconnection. We're just not connected to friends. We're not connected to people. We're feeling, just disconnected and by ourselves. Whereas solitude is more chosen, and it's enriching. And we decide that we're going to transform that sense of loneliness or being alone to being an opportunity, to turn loneliness into solitude by, for example, journaling, writing letters to yourself, thinking about the past or the future. I mean, not in a kind of negative way, like, oh, regrets, and like, oh, worries. It's more like doing a life review. I do this on my birthday sometimes. I just literally walk in my mind from like the earliest year that I can remember to the moment, and kind of jump years. And this happened, this was the highlight of that. And life reviews can be super, super powerful. And they can happen in solitude more freely than they can in loneliness, because loneliness tends to go to the negative things that happened, the regrets, the sadness, the mistakes, the quotes. But solitude is more constructive, looking at the past as building blocks to the present, to where you are, and not worrying about the future, but getting ready for it. Being seeing the solitude and the kind of lonely mixture coming to some positivity, doing things, for example, in solitude that you love. Crafts, knitting. I've been teaching my grandkids how to knit, and they've been loving it, and I'm so happy I'm doing that, because because even they're boys. I mean, that doesn't make a difference. They just like to knit, and so doing crafts, journaling, painting, gardening, all those things that you can do, especially the things you can do mindfully, like mindful gardening, mindful painting. I'm not an artist. I scribble. I do my little scribbles and coloring. And to me, that's art. I'm not selling it anywhere, or no one's judging me. I'm not entering into any competitions. But, I think mindful activity, walking is my mindful activity. Walking outside, walking in new places. Travel is my creativity as well. And I do that in solitude. I mean, most of the time I travel alone. I always seem to find people to chat with, but when I go back to the hotel or the hostel or wherever I'm staying, I'm by myself. And I could either turn that into loneliness, which happens sometimes. I'm not telling you I never feel lonely. Of course I do. But I, for some reason, just try to turn it into a quiet, solitude, pensive activity. I don't know whether any of you have ever done Japanese tea ceremony. I mean, it's that kind of ceremony of gratitude and deliberate actions that have significance. Actually, I love Japanese tea ceremony. I hope to go to Japan one day, but again, I went briefly years ago. But those are the kinds of things I think that solitude can help to generate. Emotional self health benefits. So, for example, I think solitude can definitely help you to build resilience because you're not tangled up in sadness with where you go with loneliness and as I said, regrets and so on, but you're actually looking forward and you're building creativity and responsiveness, based on like self-knowledge and what you know about yourself, that you've actually got skills, interests, passions in these different areas, and that you are going to, in solitude, carefully, wisely, joyfully embrace. You're not going to say, oh, I'm all by myself, I'm feeling such solitude. It isn't a word you use in that sense, at least in my experience. I think, in a way, solitude is the secret to thriving. If you think about thriving as a solo person particularly. But when I say solo women, I actually mean all of us. Because even if you're in a great marriage, and your husband and partner are supporting you 1,000,000%, he or she they're going to be there for you to a certain point. And then there's the dark night of the soul. There's the moments where you think, what should I do now? What's important? How can I be of value? How can I, offer service? Whatever you feel is missing. And those kinds of decisions and actions can be made from a place of solitude. A place of loneliness, as I said before, is like going into a little room, shutting the door, pulling the blinds down, and just being reflective. I mean, you can be thoughtful, you can meditate, you can pray, but it's not the same when the feeling in your heart is, I'm all alone. I'm feeling really, disconnected. But when you're in solitude, it's like I've chosen this space. I've chosen this room. I am alone. I'm choosing to do the things I love, and I'm choosing to be with the people I choose, to do the things I want. And it's just more powerful, in my opinion. What do you think? I mean, do you see a difference between solitude and loneliness? Do you see one as being more positive than the other? Let's have a conversation. Tell me what you're feeling. If you're feeling lonely, what are you doing? How are you managing that? Are you embracing it as something that is reality for you and you're going to move through it? Or are you looking at your shortcomings or the things that you feel are missing in your life, the people, the places, whatever, in a more of a solitude perspective where you can build from it and get resilient and strong and, embrace the reality of your world? Let me know what you think. I'm really interested in this conversation, so please leave me your thoughts and I'll do the same. I always try to reply to your messages, but please understand I get a lot of comments and it's sometimes very difficult, but know that I care about you and I think this is an important conversation. What do you think? Take care, everybody. Don't forget to check us out on all of our channels. If you're still here, know that I love you. I care about you. You're important to me. And we'll keep on going. We'll keep on being lonely sometimes, but resilient and in solitude most of the time. Please.